and you can go.
Okay, perfect.
You're on.
Good morning. It's Teresa de Grosbois here. Welcome. I'm so excited to have everyone here. I know we've got people on the line from all over, from the southern states and San Diego up to beautiful Portland. We've seen someone sign in from Dawson Creek, BC, which is one of my favorite towns up in beautiful Rocky Mountains. And I am so excited to have everyone here this morning because Laura Rubenstein is one of the most brilliant and genius people I know with really helping people to teach how to rock their social media, not just from a standpoint of growing your numbers, but also from a standpoint of really creating deep connection with the people that you're connecting with. Laura is an award-winning social media and marketing strategist. She's the author of the best-selling book, Social Media Myths Busted, The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. Her mission is to help business owners, thought leaders, and coaches with the overwhelming to-do list and moving from that to thrive. She has optimized marketing plans for over 1,000 businesses. Her profit-generating strategies make her a highly sought-after speaker and consultant. Boy, you want to see this lady speak is all I can say. And this morning, we've asked her to come and share with us how to use social media to boost your bottom line. So everybody just please help me welcome Laura Rubenstein. I'm so happy to have you here, Laura. Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here. One of my favorite things to talk to people with a mission and a passion is social media, because social media has just leveled the playing field for small businesses to have access to millions and billions of people out there that they otherwise wouldn't have. And so we're living in a very incredibly exciting time in the history of marketing. So fasten your seatbelts, because I have got a lot of information. I welcome questions in the chat box. If you have a social media account, if we have time at the end, Teresa, would it be okay if I looked at somebody's social media account? And
oh, that would be awesome. I love real-time examples, so if we can use some examples. And just make sure you allow time at the end, Laura, because the main question I always get is, how do I get more Laura Rubenstein? So make sure that you give us some details at the end on how we can further connect with you if we want and get more of your courses, etc.
Great. And so someone's saying they're not seeing anything. They're not seeing my pink shirt again. So this happened to me once before. So let me relaunch that, because it says it's sharing, but let me just do that one more time for everyone. All right, is anybody are you seeing me in pink now on the screen?
I've got a how to share your screen coming thing up, so I'm just going to walk through that to see if that will go away.
All right, Tracy, do you see my blue?
Blue
you see
home screen, social media best practices to boost your bottom line.
But you don't see a picture of me in pink, right?
Nope, there's a picture of you in the upper left-hand corner as host in blue.
Okay, perfect.
I will be right back. Hold on.
So this would actually be a great time if people have specific things that they want to work on. I would invite you to actually type them into the chat field if there's specific topics or questions you'd love answered. That would be really great to actually just even bullet point them in the chat box, because then Laura will know what we need to hit on throughout the talk. So I just ask you to review what you're doing, maybe even let us know what social media platforms you're using, like what are your favorites, and give us a few notes in the chat box that'll help Laura out.
And now you should be seeing myself in pink on the screen.
Oh, we got you. Yeah.
All right. How to manage multiple roles in social media. What I really want to know by the end of this time is a link to one of your social media accounts that you'd like some feedback on, and I'd be happy to do a little makeover for you.
Beautiful.
I'll probably just choose one at random, so probably the person who interacts the most. And I see you want to know how to manage multiple roles in social media. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but is that if you have
totally different positions. I have a personal, I publish a magazine in my personal life, and I have a very professional public corporate life as well.
Gotcha. All right, I'll address that a little bit today just for you. So thanks for being here. And let's just get into it, because I got a lot of stuff and I want to get to you guys. And here's what you're going to learn today is how to approach social media to attract new leads. Everybody in business always wants new leads. And I'm going to show you how to do that using best practices and strategies so that you get positioned as a highly sought after expert, the authority in your field. And I promise to share with you a powerful system to ensure that you get there. So hopefully everybody's ready for that. You might want to know why you should listen to me. Like Teresa said, I put my heart and soul into the small business owner. I'm a small business owner. I love entrepreneurs, people with a mission, people who have a passion to make a difference in the world, thought leaders, consultants, professionals, even celebrities. But it always comes back to small business owners. And over the years, I've done things like I won the Small Business Influencer Award, Champion Award, and that was a real honor and a testament to the 22 years I've been serving small businesses. I am a noted influencer, a pretty high score in Cloud, and on the Social Buzz Club, that's a network that I founded, and it's a network of influencers who share each other's content for each other in a collaborative way on to each other's social media. So it's a powerful way to get the word out about you for you using an influencer network. And this year I wrote a book called Social Media Myths Busted, and it's all about getting over the resistance to social media and moving through to revenue. So let's do that. Sounds good?
Yeah, perfect.
Good. All right. So meet Dr. Karen Kramer. She's actually a teen and young adult life coach. And when we worked together, her goal was to get more business and boost her bottom line. What we started with, and she took my social media blast-off course, and out of what she learned, and actually she wound up doing some more work with me. I think she took the course a couple of times. But she had a 41% increase in likes on Facebook. I think this was after the first class. 68% increase in LinkedIn connections, and a 500% increase in her Twitter following. So that enabled her to create new markets, new clients, and strategic partners, which was very powerful for her. She hadn't really thought through what strategic partners would look like for her. And I just love working with these solopreneurs who need the edge, need the little secret weapon. You might be saying to you, if I only knew what to do on social media, well, we're going to talk about what to do. And for those of you who stay to the end today, I'll be giving away a very special, totally free gift to every person who attends today. So I'll give you a little bit more details at the very end today. And let's just get on the same page here first about what social media is. I'd like you to think of social media as a giant networking meeting, okay, like on steroids. If you've ever been to a conference, a Chamber of Commerce meeting, a social mixer type thing, or a formalized networking meeting, you've been networking, okay? It means you're out with a bunch of people in the world. And if we take the words social and media and break them down, what we get is social. To me, social is all about building relationships, right? Media, remember there is this word media in there, and media implies public, publishing platform, okay? So it's a place where in putting that all together, it's a public publishing platform for building relationships online. So keep that in mind as we talk about best practices. So I was talking to a small business owner, a professional organizer recently, and she asked me, she's not totally jumped into social media. She's got a Facebook account, she's got a Pinterest account, she's got LinkedIn. She really hasn't done much with any of it. And she's asking me, why would I want to follow anybody else? Like, yeah, I want people to follow me, but why should I really go out and seek people to follow? Well, the answer lies, the key is in that first rule of networking. And if you don't know the first rule of networking, it's give first. So what does it mean in social media to give first? You know, like if you go out to a networking meeting, offering your hand, like a handshake, or handshake, is actually a way to give, right? You're giving your hand. Also, you can give compliments or acknowledgments. But connecting with someone online and asking them for them to friend you or follow you, whatever, it's kind of, or if you follow them actually and you ask to friend them and you connect with them on like a LinkedIn or something, that is a form of outstanding your hand as if you were wanting to shake their hand and say, hi, I'd like to get to know you, right? So, think of yourself on social media as the host or hostess. Okay, coming to social media, being the host, outreaching your hand to say welcome. Make people feel welcome, that they're there and you're wanting to connect with them. It's a real compliment to them, like, wow, you want to know me? Sure, absolutely. So think of social media like a networking meeting where you're building a relationship with another person. You get to know them and they get to know you. Social media is about reciprocity. So I always recommend giving on social media. And like I said, you can give in a lot of ways. First, outreach your hand by following them, friending them, connecting with them. But the next level of giving would go into liking a post, like on Facebook. On Pinterest, you can also give a heart, a favorite. On Twitter, you can favorite. You can comment on posts on a lot of these networks. Instagram, Google+, all of these networks have ways for you to, many of them have ways for you to like, many of them have ways for you to comment. On Twitter, you would retweet or reply to them. You can favorite them, you can share. What a novel concept. Share somebody else's content. Now a lot of people, think about broadcasting, content, and a great way to share content is to tell, your connections about somebody else's content that you value. It positions you in two ways. One is a valuable resource, someone who curates valuable content, and the other way is to the person you've shared their content, you look like someone who's a giver, and then that law of reciprocity comes back in one way or another. So you want to know the best practices in social media because they answer the most common questions, kind of like what you were asking earlier, Anna, and that question is kind of in here in number 2, but some of the questions that you'll be able to answer by the end of today is who should I accept a friend request from, right? A lot of people say, well, should I accept friend requests or connection requests from everyone? And we'll get to that answer on this talk today. And then a lot of people, kind of like you were saying, Anna, is how do I keep my Facebook personal profile separate from my business? Or if I have 2 roles, how do I keep them separate, or how do I manage them? We'll talk about that as well. How do you get more engagement on Facebook? Should you buy likes or followers? And how to get more leads from social media. So, when you know the best practices, you'll know the answers to these questions. So let's go through them. So my philosophy is that you keep it personally professional. Okay? Meaning, when you're on social media for business, you're on social media for business. Okay? So a lot of people are like, well, I don't want, my Facebook friends or people who like my page to see my post from my niece or my nephew. Well, they won't unless you are sharing them. If your niece or nephew are sharing them, they won't. If you like them, depending on the status that your niece or nephew has, if they're public, then if you like it, it's going to show up in the ticker as something you like. The ticker is on the right-hand side, the scrolling thing that happens when you have your screen big enough. So you will bring attention to your niece and nephew if you like or comment or share one of your family members' posts. Otherwise, if you don't, just read them and comment to them on email in private or something. And my best rule, a lot of people say, well, I want to be private. I want to keep myself private. Well, the best way to keep your private information private is to not share it on social media. Because remember I said that initial definition and getting on the same page is that social media is really a public publishing platform. So that's why I want you all to think about how can you represent yourself personally yet professionally online. You might choose, and this is something for like Anna, to not do certain things on certain networks, share about certain. If you want to use LinkedIn for one of your roles, then just use it for one. You can use it for multiple, but if you feel there's a conflict in doing that, then you're not going to be able to do that. So that is an important thing to know, is what to use each network for. Then you can decide how to represent yourself on each network. So on Twitter you can have multiple accounts, but like on Facebook you can only have one personal, but you can have multiple business pages. So, but the personal account is the one that gets most interaction usually, unless you've really been investing into a probably paid advertising for your Facebook page. Otherwise, because Facebook has become a pay-to-play game here. So it's about strategically choosing. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that in the best practices. So let's jump right in and talk about what those best practices you want to implement today are. So first of all, and this goes right into the, where should I represent myself as and where? Okay, or what should I represent myself as and where? So you have to know who your market is for each role you play and each role you want to bring to social media. So Facebook is great for people, consumables, things that offer advice, consulting, because it's the most social of the social networks. And most people are there not to buy, but they'll gather information and they'll keep up communication-wise with people and what's trending in their lives. The reason most people go to Facebook is because most people are on Facebook. So if your market is there and they're actively talking about what it is you address, the problems you solve, the problems they have, then you want to be on Facebook. If they're not actively there, you might still want to have a presence like a Facebook fan page for credibility. Do you have a very robust strategy there? Maybe not. Maybe if you want to position yourself, however, as a thought leader, it's an excellent place to grow and use your Facebook, even your personal profile, as that professionally personal profile where you can position yourself as an expert. Now, you're not using it for business per se, but remember, it's different saying you're using it for business versus you're on it for business. It's like saying, I'm going to go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and guess what? You might talk about the ski trip you just took or the snow that just fell, and while certain parts of the country were having hurricanes and 90-degree, continent were having 90-degree weather, and your part was having snow. That's personal information, right? That's not professional, but you talk about it at networking meetings. It's what connects you. It's how you build rapport. So you want to do a lot of that on Facebook, build that rapport, and then sprinkle in your expertise throughout it in a social way. Like, hey, I was just working with this client. I can't believe the revelation they had, and made me think of this wonderful tip that I often give, and boom, you have something very personal yet professional and adding value. So Twitter is a great place to be for a number of reasons. If you want media attention, Twitter is awesome. Journalists are there. They're putting out real-time information. Also, your competitors are there for great market research. So not only if your market's there, absolutely you want to be there. But if you want to do market research and you want to have media attention, you definitely want to be on Twitter and active and build your following there. Pinterest is for anything visual. If you have befores and after in your work, if you have quotes you can create and put up on images, Pinterest is great. So a lot of people say, oh, I don't really have visuals in my work. I'm a consultant. Well, guess what? You have words. Words can be put onto images. So you might get so creative with Pinterest. LinkedIn is the professional networking platform. If you want to target corporate, if you want to target other professionals, you want to be on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, YouTube and Google+, I usually kind of combine them because they're both owned by Google, and they both get you rankings. Can really help to drive traffic to your website. So can Pinterest, by the way. It's known for that. But your Google Plus posts get indexed and optimized. So if you're interested in getting more traffic to your website, I highly recommend Google and doing videos using YouTube. Now the second line here are pretty more niche oriented. Well, not the little orange button. The little orange button is your RSS feed for your blog. It's really what I'm using to represent your blog. Yes, you need a blog or a website. If you're going to use social media, you want to drive people back to one central place, and it should be a dynamic place. And what I mean by dynamic is there's content that you're relatively often adding. Okay, and a blog is the perfect place to do that. I recommend your blog and your website be one, not separate. They be together in one. Your blog be on your website. If you have any questions about that, I do advise people and do project manage websites. And we have a team of developers that put together really good low-cost websites for people. The Instagram is the one in the brown. Instagram is really hot if you have a market that is like 18 to 35-year-olds. It's getting more popular, but again, it's for visual. It's for fun, food, fitness, and fashion, and anything trending or popular, I like to say. It's for what's popular. This T is Tumblr. That is a mini blogging site. So if you don't have a blog, at least have a Tumblr site, especially if you're also, that's the younger demographic is using it a lot, or art. People in art and music are using Tumblr like crazy. And there's all kinds of niches using it, but it's a more specific conversation. The reason I put Yelp here is because it's a local directory. Anybody who has a brick and mortar, meaning a storefront or an office with an address that you want people to come to, Yelp is awesome because they show up in searches just like LinkedIn does actually. So if you're a professional, you definitely want to have the LinkedIn. If you're a local storefront type venue, you want to have Yelp as your venue. So as to the question of who should you say yes to requests from, well, that would be from people who fit your ideal client profile. If you haven't put together, and I actually like to call it your ideal profit profile, because a lot of people tell me, and maybe you can relate to this, but they say, well, I just want anyone who will buy my service. Like I can serve everyone. That's fine. You can do that. And your marketing should target one demographic or two demographics or profiles, as we like to say, the ones that are going to be the richest niches for you. And in the Social Media Blast, of course, I work really hard with people on how to, I have a little worksheet on how to identify your profit profile. Why? Because once you identify that, you'll know what content to bring out there.
You are now muted.
It's really key to know what is who you're talking to online. Because if you don't, then you're not, if you don't get any response, this could be a big key. You're not talking to the right person or set of people. The other people to say yes to requests from, and also outreach and ask to follow, are your colleagues. A lot of people are afraid of competition. Well, if you have a concern about competition, I recommend you check it at the door, or you check it at the on button to your computer, because it's irrelevant in social media. Visibility is king, and your colleagues can help you get visibility by connecting with them and becoming known as a leader along with them, especially the ones that are already visible on social media. you can be boosted up by that. So yes, you'll be sharing, they'll see your connections, but that's really no big deal in the world of social media. There's plenty to go around here. It's all about cooperation, or as one of my mentors said, co-opetition. So the third category of people are, who are the people who are also talking to your profit market? Those influencers. So if you're an accountant, are financial advisors talking to your market? Are QuickBooks and other vendors talking to your market? Susie Orman, that kind of people, okay? So think about the influencers and start connecting with them, following them, sharing them, and saying yes to requests if you're getting them from them. So hopefully that
you are now unmuted.
A lot of sense to you, and it clears up and it gives you like ideas on where to go out.
Hi, Laura. Sorry, I'm so late.
That's okay. Thanks for being here.
You are now muted.
So the second best practice, so we're already just into the second best practice of 10, is being consistent in your branding. It really builds a trust when people see professional images on each of your networks. They see your logo, they see a consistent website, the look, and they look like they tie together. But most importantly, that professional photo is key. For example, on LinkedIn, if you don't have a photo, I think you're a scammer or a spammer. I will not accept a request from you. Do not be afraid to put out a professional photo of you online. If you on social media, if you are, then we have to back up. You're not ready to be marketing on social media and being a business person. And remember, when I say marketing, I really mean building relationships, okay? That's what marketing is for the small business owner. It's not about broadcasting messages or promotional messages, about building relationships. And if I can't see a picture of you, I get that you don't really want a relationship. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So the third best practice here is to use visuals. Why? Like visuals, what do I mean by visuals? Photos, infographics, quotes on images, words on a graphic image. Because photos get the most action. You can see this was some research, a survey done by Social Bakers. And they found that photos get 93% of the action and interaction on Facebook. And as you noticed, ever since Pinterest came into the scene, that every social network got bigger photos. They got a header image. Now LinkedIn has header images, and company pages have headers. And the images you can now attach to comments. Even Twitter, you can now attach photos that show up in the stream. So everybody's going visual, and then Instagram became very popular because they're also an image sharing network like Pinterest. And it's just been proven over and over that the interaction on a photo is much higher than even a link. And in fact, a status update without a link gets more interaction than one with a link, and a video gets the lowest, believe it or not. So these numbers obviously change over time, but not by much. Okay, so consider visual. So how would you do that? Well, just take a look here. I created each of the images on the page here using a site called Canva, canva.com, C-A-N-V-A. It's one of my most favorite graphic pages. And by the way, I made it, or photo editing type page or graphic creation website. I made all these for free, by the way. So on the left, you see my ultimate and unusual curry chicken salad recipe. You're welcome to jot down the recipe. It's very good. But this is what I call a little infographic. It gives the ingredients, and it has a picture that I took of the chicken salad that I made. Now, I'm a social media consultant. You're saying, well, why would you post this? Well, remember, being personally professional, I would definitely walk into a networking meeting and talk to somebody, and if they mention healthy food or something, I'm going to say, oh my God, yesterday I made the best curry chicken salad. I had a craving for it, whatever, and here's my recipe. So this is something I would share. And just note, at the bottom of this infographic, it says, we do social, but we like to eat well too. The other thing to note about each of these graphics is that there is a website listed on every single one of them. So if somebody wants to, quote unquote, rip this off or take this photo and share it for themselves, that's fine. They're going to share it with the website. And that's good, because then if somebody wants to know the origin, they'll come to the website. The middle graphic is all using elements from canva.com, as well as the lower right-hand side. The upper right-hand side, where it's me and a local news anchor I was interviewing, is a picture that I took. And you can see me taking it. I'm taking a picture of us taking a picture. It's looking at our screen. And then on the bottom of the graphic, I put a quote from Kimberly Hunt and, of course, my website. So these are just a couple of things you can do to grow, to get that interaction using images. There are other sites like Quozio, that's Quozio.com. If you want just words on a graphic, you don't have any images. Again, you don't have to have images to use Canva, but Quozio is a very simple. Canva is very easy, but it's got a lot of options. There's PicMonkey. If you do have your own image, it makes it very easy to put words on your image. PicMonkey.com. So those are just a few resources for creating graphics easily for free. We like free. I share so many free resources in the Social Media Blast Off course that you save thousands of dollars just by knowing what resources are out there. And that's why I'm sharing a few with you today, as many as I can. So Dr. Roberta Shaler is known as the Relationship Help Doctor. And I gave her some advice on using, because she had so many great relationship tips. I said, you've got to be on Pinterest. There's a lot of women on Pinterest. So if your market is women, forgot to mention that, by the way, very key, you want to be on Pinterest. I said, there's so many women on Pinterest. And her market is actually couples, but usually the wife or the woman in a relationship is the one to seek out relationship support. So I said, you've got quotes. If you just put them on beautiful images, that'll lead people to your website, because you can pin these quotes from your website to to Pinterest, or Pinterest will lead them back to your website. So she did that. Within a couple of weeks, she got more traffic to her website from Pinterest than she got over 2 years from Facebook and Twitter combined. I thought that was phenomenal. So it does work. The fourth best practice. This is one of my favorite ones, probably the one I feel is most important, and I'll tell you why. It's because I just think we're in an era right now where people are done with hype. They are just filtering it out. They don't even see hype anymore. You have to barrage them with hype, and then they get really annoyed. And as a small business owner, you don't want to annoy people, because that's what they'll remember. So Business Insider asked Guy Kawasaki, who is the author of these 3 books, including What the Plus at the Right and Enchantment, and Ape, author, publisher, entrepreneur. He's a hugely successful social media leader, I would say. He's not necessarily a trainer, but he's a speaker and he's an author. And he leads different companies. He's the founder of Alltop as well. If you know what that is, it's a search engine type of system. But the Business Insider asked him, how can a small business grow their social media presence? And he said the best practice is to curate valuable content. And I've been hinting at this and really telling you this throughout the whole time here. This means content that inspires, amuses, informs, or assists people. So I was saying you can share other people's content and look like a hero to your list as a valuable resource, as well as, get the attention of the person you shared their content. But the content you should look for is the content that moves you, inspires, amuses, informs you, gives you some value as well. And then you can convey, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I want you to read this. If you don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, you probably shouldn't share it. But and I don't mean by the greatest thing, I mean by something that you didn't realize that was meaningful, inspirational, entertainment, gave you entertaining value, or informed you of something you otherwise wouldn't have known, and you're grateful to have it, you should share it with others. In fact, Jay Baer, the author of Utility, Why Smart Marketing is About Help, Not Hype. He talks about content being fire and social media being the gasoline. So the fuel is social media, but it gets ignited when you put valuable content. And here's a great question. You know you're doing marketing at the speed of need, that is worthy, is amusing, entertaining, informative, if your marketing is so useful that people would pay for it. So you could ask yourself, what kind of information or content can you produce that is so useful that people would pay for it, but you're going to give it away for free? Free reports and videos and utilities, applications. There's companies that put out apps, like Clorox puts out the stain app and it helps you get stains out. They don't necessarily, every single stain removal recipe is not with Clorox. So think about things that are periphery to you, again, if you're a financial advisor or you're an accountant or you're even in the healing arts, recipes, something that's useful, that is relevant to your market. It may or may not be exactly what you sell. So for example, Champion Sportswear, the outdoor clothing company, they have an app called the Knot app. They'll teach you how to make knots on this app. They don't sell rope. They sell clothing. So should they not have put out a Knot app? No. It's just kind of what that market would value, right? So it's pretty ingenious when you think about it. So what that helps you do when you have valuable content, so you don't have to have so much content. You have to have valuable content, and you need to repost or repin or share other valuable content. But it's not necessarily just about broadcasting. You can, as you share other people's content, offer thoughtful responses, reviews, add additional commentary. Then you can share some content that would inspire action as well. After you've done a lot of engaging and people are back and forth and they care about you and you care about them, really they know they care, that you care about them. Remember the Zig Ziglar quote, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Then you can inspire some action, to download a free report, to be in touch with you, to attend something. You don't want to do that too much, because that just makes you seem like a marketer. And when the marketer moves in, the members move out. You want to build relationships. Shelley was working on Facebook, and she came to me, and she wanted to learn how to get this thing going. And she said one Facebook strategy she learned from me helped her to immediately triple her registration for her teleconference and instantly got her like $2,600 in sales. She was not making any money using her Facebook. So from this teleconference and from the Facebook leads, she got a very big boost in what she was bringing in from social media. So it's because you got to know what your market likes and what they respond to. And that takes time to know, because it's different for every market. So let's jump to this fifth best practice. And I did mute the line, Teresa, in case you didn't know, because we had some. I'm going to unmute.
You are now unmuted.
We're halfway through. If there's anything that, Teresa, you'd like to comment on, you're welcome to. Is this making sense?
Oh, I'm loving it, Laura. I especially like the moving at the speed of need. Now, if there's a Twitter quote that should go viral, I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, no, that's making huge sense. I mean, it's so aligned with what I teach, too. So I'm really appreciating how you're laying it out in nice, neat packages. I love what you suggested earlier about actually looking at some real sites and going into some real examples. But I know there's a couple things you might want to do first. Where would you like to go from here?
Well, I have 5 more that I'm going to share of the best practices.
Okay, perfect.
I'll share how people can put in place a system, and then we can do a a case study if anybody wants to stay on the line for that.
Yeah,
so
sounds perfect. I love it. Okay.
And what that means is some lucky somebody here, if you want to be brave and put your social media link to any site you have a question about and would like a makeover on, I'd be happy to give you 2 or 3 tips on how to optimize it.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Let's just jump in, because this 5th best practice is probably pivotal.
You are now muted.
A lot of people. Have you integrated your social media with your website? Meaning, do all roads lead home? Home being your website online. The benefit of having these social networks is to get more traffic to your website. So like I said in the beginning, you need a good site, ideally with a blog in it. Why? Because that blog post, each new blog post you create, can be shared to each of those networks, the networks you're focusing on. And I went through a lot of networks. You may not be using all of them. Even if you just use 1 or 2, that is fine. I have clients that just use 1 or 2, and it works for them because they've made a name for them. And there are a lot of other networks. I have other clients and colleagues who just use things like Scoopit, and they just use Tumblr. So you'll find your place, and some people like to be in multiple places, depending on how much time you have and where really your market is. But everything needs to integrate. One of the most frustrating things, and maybe you've experienced this, is that you go to Facebook, you type in their search bar, which is, it's not really a standard search. It's not a Google search. It's a open graph search. They really want to know what kind of relevance. You just want to find somebody, but you can't. But if you Google them and you get their website, if their website has a link to their Facebook, you can get them on Facebook. Vice versa. I can't tell you how many times I've had calls with clients and new clients, and I didn't have their phone number. They were supposed to call me, and I went to their website, and there's no phone number there. There's no link to their LinkedIn or Facebook. There's no phone number. Please don't be afraid to put your phone number out there. People do not call them, and if you're afraid, get a Google Voice number that screens your calls for you. So at least you can get important calls, and people who would rather pick up the phone than send an email. And not all email gets delivered these days. So if you don't know that, please know that. Just because you sent it doesn't mean it was received. So integrating this is a really pivotal part. And with your philosophy, Teresa, responding is ever so critical, because that builds the relationship. That lets people know you care. So when somebody reaches out to you, especially like on a LinkedIn, to connect with you and you accept their connection request, oftentimes you'll get a thank you back if they're using that network proactively. And if not, you could say, thanks for inviting me to connect with you. I look forward to getting to know you. Tell me something about your business, like you would when you shook hands with somebody at a networking meeting. So in fact, remember to check your messages on Facebook and LinkedIn. Your Twitter has direct messages. A lot of those get to be spammy, I understand. But check those messages where you're actively participating, because you never know what's going to come your way. Over the couple weeks ago, I got a speaking engagement because I checked my LinkedIn mailbox. So you never know how business is going to come to you. Now moving on to the 7th best practice is listen. So that's the word really for read what's going on social media. Do your research. You can especially find groups. Google Plus has groups. They're called communities. LinkedIn has groups, and Facebook has groups. Why not find groups where your market participates? Not your colleagues, your market. Notice what content they engage most with. Then you can also watch your colleagues and what's working for them. Notice what you don't like as much as what you do like. Social media is a place to be authentic. If you don't like something, you don't like it because you don't like it, not because, I hate this about social media. No, you just don't like the practice of something. Like if somebody's doing all kinds of, spam or whatever, that's really not ethical or just rubs people the wrong way, don't do it. Do what's authentic for you. Because I really want you to fall in love with your social media and your engagement on social media. That's going to help you build those relationships. So you can search, you can use Google Alerts, which is a system on Google. If you just Google Alerts, you can set up an email to be sent to you once a week, once a day, whatever you want on certain keywords, even your name. Who's talking about you online, who's writing blog posts about you, your industry. You can find out what's trending in your market. So Google Alerts can help you, and then you can find that content to curate very easily. You can do that on other sites too, but that's one way to do it with Google Alerts. Now, the eighth best practice is put relationships first. Because remember, when the marketer moves in, the members move out. But these are the people that you want to build your community online with, the people you work with, play with, collaborate with, consult with, donate to, buy from, build your network from them, because you already have relationships, and that'll help you mushroom your relationships beyond who you already know. And you will get what you give, so give your best, and they will be there for you. Your network will work for you as long as you put relationships first. In fact, Walter Kruger is a travel agent with American Express Cruise Planners, and he wanted to put up a Facebook page. And I said, okay, we'll put up a Facebook page, we'll do the branding, we'll do the content, but you need to engage. Within the first week, he got 3 new clients, 1 group cruise, and he earned thousands of dollars, which was really phenomenal for him. And it's because he reached out his hand and he let people know, and he started engaging with people about what he was putting on his fan page. And it was inspiring to people, and just so happened there was, someone who wanted a group cruise and new clients. It was very exciting for him. So putting that relationships first, making it relationship oriented is key. And again, remember what I said really flies on Facebook is the consumer oriented. This is something very fun. You see a lot of photos of vacations, right, on Facebook. So that's it kind of all gelled together. Putting relationships first, using graphics, and then engaging. All right. That leads me to have a marketing flow and what I call a savvy marketing flow. Again, it starts with your blog on the left-hand side here. But what do you want them to do? Your website, and that could say blog or website. What do you want them to do from your website? It should be pretty obvious. You want to give them a free yet irresistible gift that starts a flow of emails or newsletters. They'll get your regular weekly or monthly newsletter. And once they take you up on your free offer, you might offer them a small $7 video series, or they call it like a tripwire or loss leader. It's just to get people, give them tremendous value, give them something worth $700 for $7, okay? To let people build that trust, build that relationship. And then you might offer them a free valuable webinar like we're doing today, a personal call from that, or an offer. And in the beginning, you might start off with an offer for something between $97 and $297. That might lead to a live event or online training. So this is a very robust marketing flow. You don't have to have all the pieces, but it has to flow one to the next. You need to lead your visitors from your website and the people on your email list through a way to get more of you and build that up over time. So, their engagement and their commitment to you. When you do that, you really have what I call your profit system in place to craft your profit system. And in order to do step number 9, you got to have your profit system. And I help people do that with the social media blast-off system, which involves these 4 components, which I'm going to go through with you right now. Obviously, I don't have a tremendous amount of time, so we're going to go through it very rapidly today, but if you want more, I will show you how to get more, which involves strategizing, optimizing, magnetizing, and then monetizing. So you need to know your purpose. Remember in the beginning I was talking about know your profit market. Know your products that you're going to, that flow, that's going to be in the flow. You need to know what we talked about, best practice 1, how to select the right networks. Plan those engagement strategies, and then pull in the peeps from there. We want to make sure once you have your strategy set up that your networks are optimized. You've got the professional setup with power profiles, and you're proficient at using each of the networks. You've integrated your networks with your website, and you know the tools that will save time and filter out the noise. That will allow you to use that flow and build a tribe of raving fans. You need to grow your communities, attract the attention of influencers, and become someone who others want to know. It's like, here's a visual for you. If you walk into a networking meeting and you see a group of people clustered around one person, you're like, who is that person? Should I know them? You want to become someone who others want to know, like that person who you're wondering about, should you know? Okay, and that's what social media does for you when you do it the way I've just been teaching with these best practices. So that means you also want to be Google friendly so that you show up in search and you can be found. And magnetizing also involves growing leads and interest from media if that is something that's important to you. So that is the optimize, strategize, optimize, and magnetize, which then, when you do all that, leads you to monetizing because you have the systems in place to serve your clients. So when you craft your profit system that explodes your ability and your visibility and your credibility to attract people, multiply the traffic to your website, you receive public endorsements from key industry leaders and influencers who already have a strong following and positive reputation. You become known as the authority in your field, that go-to expert. You know, it's pretty cool. So you might be wondering where to start. I recommend getting some social media training if you don't yet feel proficient. But more than that, you need to get trained or walked through a process of creating your own strategic marketing plan for your social media. By the way, as a marketer, I don't think that social media is the only marketing tool that you should have in your toolbox. It's just very powerful to have in addition to your robust marketing plan. So I do talk a little bit about that in the Social Media Blast Off course, but my main focus in this course, as you can see, there's like 9 modules and a few bonuses here, actually 10. 6 plus 4 bonuses actually, and a couple of other things. I just keep adding because I've been doing the Social Media Blast Off course for, I don't know, 8 years now. 6 years, since 2009. So 5, 6 years, going on 6 in 2015. But in the Social Media Blast Off course, I want to help you know exactly how to massively grow your networks using a simple marketing plan template for each network. So I give you easy to follow step-by-step on-screen training in addition to action guides, which are written workbooks that you get to print out or use online, and a strategic plan for each network that you're going to use. So like if you're not going to use Google+, then you shouldn't do the Google+ training in there, but it's there when you're ready for it. I love shortcut strategies. So I will give you shortcut strategies. I give you a list of free tools. I show you how to use a lot of them, like Hootsuite. I want you to maximize your influencer status. So there are 8 self-paced modules. You follow along with those videos. It's like you see my screen. I show you exactly what buttons to click. Those little nagging questions you've had, by the way, how do I do this? They're answered in the Social Media Blast Off course. Now, here's the thing. We're nearing the end of 2014. Things have changed on social media. I'm also changing my branding. So as a bonus, not only are you going to get the whole 2014 Social Media Blast-Off system, I'm going to give you access, a live access pass to the 2015 course called Savvy Social Media Success System. So if you want, you'll be able to interact with me, ask questions live, and you can get a head start by starting with the Social Media Blast-Off system, and at the beginning of 2015, you'll get an email, a series of emails of how to access the live class. It'll be similar to what we're doing today, except you'll have more interaction with me because we'll have more time together. So normally it's a $16.97 class. It's on sale for $6.97, but Teresa, if it's okay with you, I'd like to, you are so special.
You are now unmuted.
I want to offer an extra $200 off the special price to your members.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, I have a money-back guarantee. If after completing the classes and homework you don't feel you got the value, I'll give you your money back. I'm all about the value, so there's no risk here. You'll get the strategies that build your bottom line. You'll get that training. You'll get your questions answered, guidebooks. I mean, it's over the top what you get. Only for only $4.97, and you just use that coupon code LAUNCH200 when you're checking out to get that. So I do want to get to a couple of, we have 5 minutes, so I can go and see. Maybe, Teresa, you can pick somebody who I should, a couple of people put in, and I would love to do that. And I did promise everyone a gift, so here's the gift. You're going to get the Engagement Matrix and Social Media Engagement Planner. It's kind of basic. I give you a more robust one in the course, but it gets you started on things to think about to where to engage on social media. So go to bit.ly/engagematrix. Write that down, everyone, bit.ly/engagematrix, and I'm happy to, and it's all lowercase, by the way, happy to send you the Social Media Engagement Planner so you can plan what to post and when to engage. It's pretty cool.
Fabulous. Okay, so are we going to move into a live example here? I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, who do you think I should?
Well, we've got one Facebook from Anna and one Twitter from Brian. So you got a preference? Oh, actually, Brian Hellman also put his website in here. So what are you thinking, Laura?
I don't have a president. I was hoping you would help me.
Why don't we
start with the Facebook page? You want to do that?
I have to drop right at 10:30, so if it'll take more than that, go with Brian.
Okay. What works for you, Laura?
We'll make it work for 10:30. So let's go to Anna, and let me give you. Y'all should be able to see the page. This Oregon Music News is yours, right?
Yep, that's our Facebook
Anna?
page. So this is what I do in my spare time. It is a very little revenue generator, but it was, just an example of a Facebook page.
Okay. So one of the first things I look at is, are you willing to have people find Oregon Music News from your personal account?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I want to show you my personal account. One of the things you can do is link to your fan page right in the About section. So under Work and Experience. So make sure you've done that if you haven't already.
Yep.
And I would, you can even add a call to action to your banner image here. So if I click on this, you have no description here. You can put a description on here as well. Is there something that OregonMusicNews.com, and since I'm not familiar with the site at all, can offer people? It's an online music magazine for free before they pay, like
it's
for
all
you
free.
To get them on your.
There's nothing.
Great.
There's nothing to purchase.
Okay, great. So I would have though a special downloadable something that, and maybe it's a compilation of the best music of 2014 or something, or best songs, most popular songs, they can download, and you put a button here, get your, free list, top 10, whatever. So it becomes a clickable, and then in the description, it doesn't become clickable, but the description has the link to where they can get that. So you're at least collecting names on an email list, and then you can remind them, and this is about putting that flow together on a weekly basis of the next release of the new online magazine.
Okay.
That comes out, so they can be in that.
It's
really huge. It can make a big difference. It looks like you're using images, is great. The thing about Facebook pages, it is a pay-to-play game. You have a nice amount of likes here, which you can do some really good stuff with Facebook ads. And what I would recommend, first and foremost, is using the tracking pixels on your website from Facebook. so that you can create a targeted list, a custom audience. So if you put this code, and it's not something if you don't know, then you wouldn't know. So, but tracking pixels, just, if you want to contact me.
I'll look it up.
So my email is laura@transformtoday.com. If you have any questions, I would be happy to field them at laura@transformtoday.com. Or, there's, Facebook ads is an art and a science in itself. I even outsource them. I know enough to tell people what to do, and then I manage the Facebook ad process, but I use a team to do that. So those are just a couple of things to make over your site.
Laura.
And
I'm so sorry I have to drop right now. I have another call starting, but really appreciate your information, and I'll get that book. Appreciate it.
Awesome job. You're welcome. So that's hopefully some of you have also gotten some ideas of what's important on a Facebook fan page. So it's been my privilege to share with you, how to launch your social media success and follow the best practices. And I look forward to working with those of you who are ready to explode your visibility and boost your bottom line.
Laura, that's just been awesome. Your generosity with your knowledge has just been immense. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
You are so welcome. We'll talk to all of you soon, and stay in touch on social media.
Take care, everyone.